Okay, here we go. Get some popcorn. In a small fishing village, a story began with the birth of a boy. Though he was born with a slight deformity on part of his face, the warm-hearted villagers never treated him any differently. They welcomed him, treated him like one of their own, and embraced him with kindness. Under the gentle sunlight, he played joyfully with his friends. The townsfolk greeted him with big smiles as he walked through the streets. His father laughed heartily as he showed off the giant fish he had caught. "Look at this, son! The biggest catch of the day." His mother always prepared delicious meals with love and care. "Dinner's ready. I made your favorite today." Life was peaceful. He was truly happy, so much so that he couldn't imagine a better life. He had no doubt this was a perfect life. On his 10th birthday, his father gave him a fishing rod. "This is yours now. Let's make our first catch together." Together, they sat at the pier and cast their lines. His father taught him the art of patience and the techniques of fishing. Proud of how quickly the boy was learning, "You've got a natural gift, son. Just wait. The fish will come to you." He couldn't even feel a single nibble, let alone catch a fish. The adults around him were growing bored as well. Then suddenly there was a tug on the boy's fishing rod. Unmistakably, the sign of a fish. Excited, he lifted the rod and felt the line tighten. He began reeling with all his strength. The sheer force he felt was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Monstrous, overwhelming. He gritted his teeth and sweated as he struggled, heart pounding at the thought of catching something huge. The bored adults and even his father slowly turned their attention to the boy. As the fierce struggle continued, cheers began to rise when the creature neared the surface, but those faces of excitement twisted into horror. Within seconds of seeing what emerged, the boy had caught a fish with the face of a human. Its flesh was torn in places, as if bitten by something else, exposing bone underneath. It whatever that word is, form and unsettlingly human expression froze everyone in place. At that moment, the village's oldest elder cried out in a trembling voice, "It's an omen, a harbinger of doom!" And with that final declaration, the elder collapsed. A sign of the disaster. Cries and murmurs broke out around the dock. "An omen in our village? This can't be happening!" The crowd's fearful gazes turned towards the boy. "He's the one who brought it! That monster child is a threat to our village!" They began to believe, or perhaps chose to believe, that boy was connected to the monstrous fish, that he had summoned it. Voices rose, full of accusation, and the eyes locked onto him with growing hostility. Lost and afraid, the boy turned to look at his father, when his father raised his voice and shouted, "What has this child done? It's just a hideous fish. Nothing has even happened yet." The man's furious voice silenced the crowd. The villagers who had been shouting at the boy lowered their heads, scratched at their necks awkwardly, and began to disperse. It seemed as though the day's incident would end there, but as always, the calamity did come. Strange things kept happening in the village. People began disappearing, one by one, without a trace. At first, everyone thought they were just ordinary missing person cases. But as time passed, unease spread throughout the village, and eventually, all suspicion turned toward a single boy, Dave. "That kid's hiding something. He's always been strange." Whispers turned into anger, and anger soon exploded into violence. Without even a single chance to prove his innocence, Dave found himself surrounded by the furious villagers. And amid the chaos, Dave's mother was taken, struck by a stone hurled by someone in the crowd, then swallowed by black shadows before his very eyes, leaving no trace behind. His father wept. He screamed, but that grief soon twisted into hatred, and his gaze turned to his son. "It's all your fault!" And then, overwhelmed by sorrow and despair, his father, too, disappeared. Then, utterly alone, Dave fled. Chased by now maddened villagers, he ran with everything he had, but eventually found himself cornered at the edge of a cliff. Please, I don't know anything. His desperate cry was lost to the empty air, and then he fell from the cliff. Everything should have ended there, but when Dave awoke, he found himself surrounded by whatever that word is again. Twisted faces, creatures that eerily resembled himself. Monsters that looked like distorted versions of Dave. They had saved him, but they also rampaged through the village, destroying everything in their path. The stench of blood, the screams, the blazing red fires. Dave could only stand there, stunned, watching it all unfold, and he understood all of it was because of him. Unable to bear crushing guilt, Dave made his final decision. He closed his eyes quietly and ended his own life. At that moment, someone approached from the darkness, a cold touch and a low, rumbling voice. "You are not finished yet." It was the god of death. The death smiled softly, almost sorrowfully, and whispered, "Poor soul, I shall take you in." And so, Dave's soul departed the mortal world, guided into Limbo, the boundary between darkness and existential despair. Oh, that was amazing. Oh my god.